So I think this is the single greatest change Blizzard has ever made to Hearthstone, and it's going to change a couple of things, all for the better. It is going to make the game more accessible to free-to-play players. It is going to make it's giving us new game modes, which will be more fun just in general. It is going to help the health of the meta with the new core set that's coming out. I'll get to that in a second. And some nice quality of life changes. So let's just jump into it, because I think that everything here is really interesting. So the first thing is introducing a core set. For those of you who haven't watched other videos already on this, the core set basically is going to replace the basic and classic set with 235 cards. And these 235 cards are going to come from this combination, right? 88 cards from the classic set, 54 cards from the basic set, so a large number from those sets, but that makes sense. They do want to keep it at least somewhat similar to what it used to be. But 55 cards will be returning from Wild, 4 cards from Ashes of Outland and Demon Hunter Initiate, for Demon Hunter specifically, because Demon Hunter is still a little bit behind in total cards, and they need a way to catch up, because it's just a much younger class. Then you have a 1 card returning from Hall of Fame, Shadow Form, which is the Priest 3-mana card that deals changes your hero power to deal 2 damage. And if you play that card a second time, it changes your hero power again to do 3 damage, and 29 new cards. Now, the most important thing is that this is going to be free to play, and it will become free to all players. Okay, so let's just read how you get these cards, because with Blizzard, you know that there's some sort of trick, right? In order to unlock all core set class cards are awarded between levels 1 and 10 of each class. Okay, that's really easy to do. Most players are already there. And the neutral core set cards, okay, this is probably difficult to get, right? It's unlocked based on the sum of all of your class levels combined up to level 60. So basically, if you get 6 classes to level 10, you just get all of the neutral cards, which is poggers. Like, this helps free-to-play players so much. Basically, just by completing the tutorial and doing the just bare minimum with every single class, you get 235 cards for free. And the core set will rotate, which is important to note, because since it rotates, you might be thinking, oh, what if I don't get access to the new cards anymore? Well, I think what's going to happen is it's going to rotate out every year, and you will get access to the same number of core cards as you had in the previous core set in the new one that comes out, right? So if these 235 come out, and let's just say they changed 25 cards, you will get access to all the cards that you had from the last core set, and then the 25 cards added on to that based on your level. So this is important for a couple of reasons. One, it'll increase the health of the meta, and I already said that it will make it more free to play, but it'll make the meta healthier because this core set will rotate. And they haven't told us specifically how they're going to rotate it, whether it'll be a whole new set of cards, whether there will be more new cards, whether the breakdown will be exactly like this, like it'll always be 88 cards from Classic, whether or not they'll just cherry pick a couple cards that aren't working. Let's just say Shadow Form has a broken combo, and they're like, okay, we're gonna take that out and replace it with something else from the Hall of Fame. We don't know necessarily, but we do know that it will be rotating, and that is quite nice because it'll keep the meta healthy and fresh to some extent, and I like that a lot. So the next thing is Legacy set, and Legacy is basically just rebranded Wild with basic and classic cards joining Wild. So they're no longer accessible in Standard, and they're just joining the Wild set, if that makes sense. I feel like that makes sense. It's pretty basic. They're just making basic and classic only available in Wild. It's no longer it's no longer Standard, and they're rebranding to Legacy, and I think Legacy just sounds cooler and more official than Wild. So overall, fine change. Doesn't really do too much, but it's, I guess, cool. The next thing, and this one's also pretty fun, is introducing the Classic format, which is a new game mode. Basically crafting decks and competing using Hearthstone's original 240 cards as they were in 2014, which is actually pretty cool. And let me just talk to you about what this means. First of all, it means that cards that were changed, like classic sets that were introduced recently, like, you know, how Pilfer was introduced when they took out some rogue cards, I feel like these cards are going to be taken out, and the original versions will be put back in. So Northshire Cleric, Divine Spirit, and Inner Fire combo, along with, well, those are the two that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, but there are probably a lot of other ones. But basically, they're going to come back, and the new classic cards aren't going to be available in this set. Next, in this set only, nerfs to the basic and classic cards will be reverted. So Knife Juggler in 2014 used to be a 2-mana 3/2 that threw knives, and in this set, it will go back to being a 3/2, so I can see that card being kind of broken. But it will remain a 2/2 in the wild set, and if it is in the core set, I assume that it will also remain a 2/2 in that one as well. And the last thing is we are also excited to share that we'll be increasing the total number of deck slots from 18 to 27. And all I gotta say is, why did it take so long, Blizzard? And also, thank you so much. It helps a lot, especially with the classic set coming out, which I will probably play a little bit just to de-tilt because it's a style of Hearthstone that I've missed for a while. Very board-centric, very tame, nothing ridiculous like games ending on turn 6 consistently. Yeah, I like this. Ooh, Wild Growth is going to go back to 2 mana. Innervate's going to go back to a 0 mana, 2 mana card. Oh, crud. Okay, there are going to be some broken things, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But overall, with a couple of new decks being put into the classic mode, the number of deck slots that I have will probably increase by about 7. I'm assuming I'll probably have like 2 classic decks that I just played a de-tilt. But I think that this will be fun. I think that this will be a really fun set of changes that'll help people out a lot, give people more deck slots, make it more free to play, increase the health of the meta, changing and rebranding a few things like Legacy, just to make it a little bit newer for people, especially people who are like getting into the game, just seeing like, oh, they're changing this format and giving it a new name, and just returning players. And then the new classic format for older players like WoW Classic, which from what I heard is doing pretty well. I don't really play WoW that much, but those were the good old days for WoW. When I started playing and I got absolutely immersed in that game. If I do start playing WoW again, it'll probably be Classic because it'll take me back down memory lane. And I think that that's kind of what the Classic format here will do. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Helps me out a ton. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll try to answer them. Check out the streams and the premieres where I basically watch the video live with you and answer any questions you have in the live chat for the premiere. The stream is obviously just a normal stream. And yeah, that is about it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.